Hi folks, I'm Peter Smaniak, the presenter of your 4-session introductory course, The Health of Your Gut. We are super excited to have you join us for session 1, where we will provide you an introduction to identifying the possible causes and risks to gut health issues. We will also take you through a roadmap of what you can do to further determine any other potential lifestyle factors that could hamper or is hampering your current gut health. Before we get going, the disclaimer will inform you that this course and the information provided is not intended as a substitute for medical advice or care. So please consult a doctor with any questions or concerns that you might have regarding your or your child's condition. Please also note that we do not manufacture or distribute any commercial products through petersmaniak.com, and any reference to any specific commercial products, processes, or services by trademark name, trademark manufacturer, or otherwise does not constitute or imply endorsement or recommendation by ourselves. So kicking off, and being super excited about where we're going with this course, we know that food yields, food provides energy, and it sustains life. Now, my journey started when I was 4, when I started playing soccer. I excelled as a soccer player for 18 years of my life. At the age of 6, I began sprinting and was the fastest 100 and 200 sprinter of my year each year. From an early age, I was selected to run provincially. However, my expectation to perform many times worked against me. At the age of 12, I was introduced to weightlifting through my uncle, who owned one of the largest gyms in the country at the time. So from an early age, I was introduced to how to eat well, how to feed my body for the sport that I was competing in at the time. At the age of 18, I was competing in bodybuilding competitions. What I already knew at that stage is that 80% of what I was consuming was going to impact the way I looked on stage. And being very disciplined in the approach without using drugs as they do today, I was able to show up in a condition that gave me a number of titles. So I've competed in various cycles, and as time went by, I became very familiar and really enjoyed the cardiovascular effects of cycling with far less stress on my knees. And one of the most off-road exhilarating rides one can do. So from my mid-30s, now I've been eating well all these years, generally what I thought was well, above the average in terms of healthy foods. I was suffering from a number of gut health challenges that while eating healthy and staying away from junk food, these issues were showing up inside of my gut. That was already in my 30s. At the age of 42, 43, I was consuming copious amounts of medication that would take this constant burn and bloating away from me. This is where my journey started, folks. So that is 7 to 8 years ago, I started this journey, went down the rabbit hole to find out how do I heal myself naturally without pharmaceutical drugs. Because pharmaceutical drugs do not heal. They treat a symptom. Pain meds relieve a pain for the moment. They do not heal the cause of where that pain is coming. So over our next 4 sessions, we are going to be speaking about, in session 1, we are going to be getting to grips with identifying gut risks, identifying the causes and how we do that. In session 2, we're going to be looking at cleansing, removing the toxins from our body, and especially from the digestive and gut system. In session 3, we're looking at restoring. How do we bring the gut back into balance? Because once a body reaches a state of homeostasis, everything else would work far better. And in session 4, we're going to be learning about feeding. How do we nourish the gut? And what does that mean to us? So let's kick off. Your journey is very different to my journey. Where you are today is very different to where the next person is today. But what you've got to ask yourself is 2 questions. How did I get to where I am right now? And the second is, where to from here? Once we know this, we are able to determine our own journey. It's no use being on a course with so much information and having information available and not being able to know where to go with it. We're going to try and make this information applicable in your daily life. What is important and very different in this session is that we're going to be learning about the risk of doing versus not doing. And once you understand that risk and you understand the consequence of that risk, you'll be able to determine where do I go, what do I do, or what don't I do. We must all remember that whether we do something or whether we don't do something, there's always going to be some form of impact, some form of effect. It's nature that these things happen. So looking at your gut condition, we need to look back a bit. If you have a certain gut condition showing up right now, you need to look back and say, how did I get here? So those are potential causes of what I've been doing to bring me to this place. And that doesn't necessarily mean only eating certain foods or not eating other foods. It could also be stress. It could also be lifestyle factors, conditions that we're living in. But what is important is that we need this information to be able to make an informed decision on what do we do in terms of our journey and where to from here. But before that, to understand the cause is we need to understand is how we got here. So once we understand that and we understand the information available, we're able to determine what are the potential consequences. Right now, some of us and some of you are suffering from discomfort, pain, bloating. Maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe you're waking up a number of times a night. Future disease. Your concern is, well, there's cancer in my family and I'm concerned about that. Colon cancer, fastest growing cancer in the world today. For the men and cyclists, sports people, prostate cancer, cardiovascular disease. Why is it that no matter how much sports you do, these diseases still come along your path? So what are we going to be trying to do, taking the risk angle view at gut health? Well, first of all, we want to lower the likelihood of any of these consequences showing up. And also, when doing so, we're going to lower the pain. There's no doubt that that happens all in time. So one has two choices. Once we know this, we say the choice number one is we can either flip a coin and hope for the best, or we can do certain actions. Now, you've got two forms of actions. You've got an action that says, I'm not going to do anything, and when it happens, then I'm going to take medication, I'm going to change my lifestyle, or I'm going to implement one or other therapy. For instance, if I get colon cancer and it's really serious, stage 4, are they going to do radiation to me? Now, by the time we get there, the body is very diseased. The body is full of this cancerous growth, and that is not the ideal. The ideal is to rather have a look at these things and say, how do we be preventative? Can we prevent the risk from materializing in the first place? And can we prevent or limit the consequence once it happens to us? So being able to do so requires a process. So that process says, let's look at the risk, let's look at the potential cause. What is the consequence of this risk materializing? If I don't do anything about it, what can I do at a later stage? But more importantly, what can I do now in my daily life to be able to prevent it? Now, before we get into the course and into all the information around it, I would like you to take a minute and have a look at this. This is to determine what is your desired new reality from where you are today. Write down your current reality on the left-hand side. Write down the 3 bold steps that you need to do to achieve your desired new reality. And folks, if you can draw pictures here, that is the best thing you can do for yourself. What we know is that mental imagery can have a powerful effect on your behavior. You know, they've done a study in 2004 at the Center for Integrative and Cognitive Neuroscience, where these researchers found that participants who visualized the task before completing it performed better than those who actually done a practice run. So just drawing your pictures and drawing your desired reality, you can do so. This you can download from the site, and the link is made available to you. So this means that visualizing your goals can be a powerful way to work on changing your behavior and taking concrete steps in your life. So folks, goal setting can significantly improve what you want to achieve during these 4 sessions with us. What we also need to know is after a visual goal setting session, they found that participants place the visualization of these goals somewhere they will see it every day. Not only that, but by writing down your action steps. So those are your 3 bold steps on their drawing. They are constantly motivating themselves to take the necessary actions to achieve these goals. This kind of planning promotes goal striving, and we increase our chances. So if you're sitting with one or other gut health issue, now I'm sure you're sitting with pain or discomfort, or you're intolerant to certain foods, what is that new desired reality? You can keep it simple, you can keep it complex. I would suggest keep it simple, keep it practical, and achievable steps. But it's a vision, it's a new desired reality. So folks, that's what we're going to be doing during session 1, and what we're looking for is to be able to achieve these things in the shortest period of time. We don't want to take forever to do this. We know that the body needs time to adjust, but we want to be able to achieve these goals within the 4 sessions. And folks, I believe you can. I believe you can come off medication if you're on it. It might not happen overnight, but you can do it. If you're intolerant to certain things, can you become more tolerant? Yes, you can, but allow the body to repair itself. So you work out your desired new reality. Now, this is not for everyone. If you don't want to do it, this is not compulsory. This is optional. But folks, this is what taught me, and this is what helped me achieve what I've had to achieve and what I've achieved in my life. I've always had my visions and my goals of what I went out to do. And I can attest to how this works for all of us. We've just been given these sort of things to be able to assist us, help us, and guide us. So folks, stay tuned. We will be journeying into the gut to be able to understand and get to grips what could be showing up inside of us. So be encouraged. This is Peter Smaniak signing off for part 1 of session 1. We will see you soon in part 2. So take care until we see you.